Hey YouTube, what's happening? Chris here. Want to bring you guys a quick little update on Digibyte. Right now we're at 0.011 cents. We're down 0.26%. There's quite a few things that I'm seeing on Digibyte that I really want you all to pay attention to before you make any type of investment decisions. Remember, I'm not your financial advisor. I'm here to point you to the upside of the charts, the downside and the sideways, and to tell you what I'm seeing, what I'm thinking. This is what we're going to get into, guys. If you could like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. We're trying for 100 likes. And you know what, guys? Truly, channel doesn't exist without each and every one of you, because without people watching these videos and learning and sharing and commenting, none of this exists. So I'm very grateful to each and every one of you, and do my best for you here. Remember, I am not your financial advisor. I'm never going to say that I'm 100% right in this market. Anything can happen in cryptocurrency. A whale can come in the middle of the night and move the market to the upside or to the downside very fast and very aggressively. Even if the textbooks are saying this, something else can happen. Remember, you're in the Wild West with cryptocurrency, so just really pay attention to that. You know, really keep that in the back of your head. So guys, let's get into this. So what I'm seeing now, one second here, I just want to move up my lines. All right. So what we're going off here is the real bodies for our trend lines. Okay, so we have our upper trend line here. We have our lower trend line down here, guys. Down here, what we're having is our nice higher lows, and that's what we want to see continue. So say we did have a push to the downside. First, we would look at this 20 EMA in green for a support or a bounce. If that didn't happen, we'd look down at the 50 moving average. Now, below that, the trend line is what we need to see hold. That's what's going to keep us in this short-term little bear run that we're in, or a bull run that we're in right now. Sorry about that, guys. So what you're having here, we had these ultimate lows where we got pushed down here recently to 0.00748 Digibyte, and now what we've been doing, we got pushed to the upside here. We did not have a higher high, but we came down here and we set our first higher low, which was important because throughout the trend we've been having lower highs and lower lows, and now we actually had that switch. We had that higher low. All right, then from there we tried to push up again and we could not get over this one, so we dropped back down. You see that? But what we did, we lost our higher low here, but we made a higher low than this area back here, and that's important to note. You always want to pay attention to that. But Digibyte is at the point now, guys, we're going to see where today's close is. Today's close is going to be very crucial for Digibyte, because are we going to close up before this candle here, like higher than this last candle that we had yesterday? And if we were to do that, that's going to put us right in line with this trend line, and you can see we wicked right through this trend line, then we got pushed back down. So when you're looking at this candle, this was the bulls in this nice little run we had pushing us up. We got to where this trend line's at, we got pushed all the way up to 0.0130, and then we got slammed all the way down and we closed down here at 0.0102. So that's a heck of a little move there, guys. And then what we had was this harami pattern. So you can see this long body, that's the parent body, this is the baby inside right here, and that's why they call it harami in Japanese. It's called the pregnant woman. And then we got pushed to the upside, and you can also kind of see these little tweezer bottoms that we had right there, and now we're moving to the upside. And another good thing that I'm seeing for Digibyte, though, is that we're having a cross of this 20 EMA over top of this 50 moving average, which is your golden cross. Remember, that's your short-term moving average crossing over top of your longer-term moving average. All right, so what we're paying attention to is, are we going to close up above this candle here today? And what are we going to do with this trend line in the days to come? Or even today, something could happen today where we break up out of this. Remember, guys, trend line breaks are very powerful, but you kind of have to wait for confirmation with some candle closes above it, especially one-day candle close above it. And if you're on the 4-hour two candle closes, so 8 hours on the 4-hour, because look at this, we got pushed up and out, and you're thinking, all right, we're moving, this is a nice trend line break, and then we dropped all the way back through. So it's very important for us to wait for confirmation, and that's where, even right now, like I was putting on my Litecoin video, right now is a time to be patient with Digibyte. We need to see what happens with today's close. Are we going to have a higher close than what we had yesterday? And what are we going to do in terms of this right here? If we do get out of the trend line, this would be a 0.0124 as overhead resistance, because we're going to have that overhead resistance. Let me just draw a horizontal line for you. We're going to have this right in here. So we're going to break up out of that, and we're going to try to get over top of that. And what's tough is that resistance is right there. There's not a nice little span or a gap. to where you can run. So that's why if we do break out of this, you want to break out of this on high volume, strong volume. And right now volume is decent. It's not as high as we would like it to go for a break of these trend lines. You would want your volume increasing. So we still have time today to see where this volume is going to land, but we would want increasing volume trying to get up out of here. But another thing on the bullish term, do you see we kind of have that rounded bottom going a little bit there? And that's where we had all that selling, and then do you see here how the RSI switched and we started climbing back up, and here was our high, and then we had our higher low, higher high. So that's how it goes, guys. Whenever that trend changes, it starts on the short term, then the intermediate, and then the longer term, and it starts with those higher highs and higher lows to try to get into that bull market, and that's what we eventually are going to have to do. So, and that's where I'm trying to tell you guys, I don't know if we're completely at the bottom yet. Anything can happen in this market. We've seen how manipulated it can be. So just going off technical analysis, you know, guys, you have to ride the coattails of the whales. I can't tell you what the whales are going to do. No YouTuber can tell you what the whales are going to do. We have to respond to it. And in my Litecoin video, I was saying basically we're kind of like a cornerback in football. The receiver knows what route it's going to run, and we have to try to guard it, and that's the market. The market is going to go where it goes by these big market makers, and we have to react to that and try to basically cover them or ride their coattails. And, you know, I know both ends, guys. In high school, I played baseball, basketball, and football. And in football, I was a wide receiver and a cornerback. So it was interesting to have the perspective of both. And in my opinion, cornerback was a much more difficult job because you don't know what route the wide receiver is running, which is crucial. So we have to react to the market, and that's what I'm trying to do with you here. You know, we're looking at these things like the golden cross that happened, so that's bullish. You know, guys, if we have a higher close today than what we had yesterday, that's going to be bullish. If we can break out of this trend line, that's going to be bullish. You know, all these things that we're adding up, the RSI is still, right now it's at 60, so it's still in a good strong territory, even though you can see we broke this trend line here. We fell a little bit, came back, tested. Now we're going to have to see if we can get back up inside this or if we're just going to roll back down over. On the RSI, I always like to draw lines on it. Horizontal lines, trend lines, all different types of things. And I think it really helps when you see those breaks, guys. A lot of the times, you know, you'll see this happen like this. If you'll see this hook back down and then all of a sudden it starts to come through there and it breaks this line again, you'll really see it run. Or if you see a break down out of it, you'll really see it fall a lot of the times. But Digibyte's in that area, you know, the rounded bottom that's forming. You know, we're at a very low spot for Digibyte for the quality of company that it is. And, you know, for it being 0.011 cents, if you're going long and you're trying to accumulate for the long term, this is not a terrible spot by any type of means to be getting in. We were up over 18 cents at one point, and we're at 1 right now. So there's been a massive retracement. But these are things that I wanted to bring to your attention. You know, just kind of pay attention to today's close, see what happens there. Also pay attention to this 20 EMA, if we can continue to hold that, if we can hold the 50, and what we're going to do with this overhead trend line. That's the thing I can tell you, is kind of be patient and wait for confirmation. All right? So that's a quick little Digibyte update. Like I said, guys, I'm going to try to get them at least 1 or 2 a week out to y'all. I know you guys really appreciate it. It's a great project, and I think there's a lot going for it. So if you could like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, try to get these out to you whenever I can. God bless you all.